In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to make the bird body that goes with the bird head assembly that we made previously. So without further ado, you'll use the Cameo Challenge Part 2 link to get to the Cameo portal page and select the Autodesk Inventor icon. And things will be going well if you get the preparing and connecting messages. While this is loading, I want to remind you that I have a reference image and I've saved that image into my bird folder. I'm going to use that reference image to create the body. And through trial and error, I've also come to discover the size that I need. So just to let you know, I'm somewhat prepared. The first thing I'm going to do is create a template. So I find the Start Working button, select it, and then I'm going to close this interior window by selecting this X on the right, click, and I'm going to start a new standard IPT, create, click. Just waiting for the browser to load on the left. And when you see that gray working area, that's when I'm going to create, start a 2D sketch. And as always on the XY plane. And in this case, I'm going to create a rectangle to use, and I'm zooming out a bit, selecting the upper left down here, and I'm going to type about 20, tab 20 for 20 inches. And I hit escape, zoom out a bit, and I'm going to move my box till it's more centrally located. Doesn't have to be exact. Finish sketch and extrude. I see this as a piece of cardboard on which my template will be pasted 0.125. So that's a piece of cardboard, and I've extruded it 0.125 here in distance A. Click OK. Now, I'm going to start a 2D sketch on that piece of cardboard. Click. And once I've clicked that and the sketch is active, I'm going to go to the Image button. And in my bird folder, as I said, I already got my reference image. Click. And open. And don't click on the corner, but above it, hit escape. And then I'm going to drag my image so that the whole body is about 20 inches. Mostly I'm looking for the size of the body to be on this piece of cardboard. So just see if I can adjust it, however, whatever it takes. I think that's about right. So I'm going to finish sketch and use the decal tool up here in the more upper left. Click. And I'm just going to select my image once and then face twice. Click. And then OK. And it should create more or less a template of the body and the wing. And that's about the size I know I want it to be. So I'm going to then start a 2D sketch on top of this. I start 2D sketch, click, on top of this cardboard, click. And I'm going to draw with the spline tool. So underline, select this little arrow, select spline, and then I'm going to, now I want to make these curves nice and gentle. So that I can get a big fillet on it. Pressing with my mouse wheel to pan, and then make sure these two spline lines meet up. Hit escape. I believe I can just select with my cursor this line, click. I can right click at that point, right click, and find the pop-up that it says copy it. Now I want to start a new part and paste that as my sketch. So I'm going to go File, New, Standard IPT, Create. And then I want to start a 2D sketch on the XY plane. Then I'm going to right click and paste. And there's the sketch that I made from the other. So I think this looks about what I want. So I'm going to finish sketch and extrude it 3 inches. It says this is A3. Click OK. And at this point, I want to see if I can round it off by using the fillet tool. So I'm going to, I look at this as a piece of wood. So I'm going to fillet, and I'm going to select both sides, left and right, and then change it to hopefully 1. And 1 worked, so I'm just going to click OK. I think that'll be fine. So the next thing I want to do is go back to part 1, and I'm actually going to delete this. So I want to select it and hit delete on my keyboard. And then I'm going to use the spline tool again. Spline, control vertex. And I'm just going to focus on the wing now. Again, I'm going to make the wing a little bigger than what they show here. And as I said, keep it very rounded. The reason why I'm keeping it rounded is so that when I put that fillet on, it'll round it more. So there's my shape. And, well, I'm going to hit escape, first of all. Then I'm going to select it with my cursor. Click. And as I said, you can right-click and hit copy, or you can use your keyboard and go Control-C for copy. Then I'm going to return to part 2. So down here in the bottom left, you can see part 1 and part 2 are made. So I'm going to select the tab that says part 2, click, and that brings up the bird body. And then I'm going to start a 2D sketch on the flat surface here. It's got to be a flat surface. Click. And then I'll just go Control-V for paste. And that's the wing there perched on the back. And I'm actually just going to grab these handles. You can see you can adjust these handles if you like. I feel this is pretty good. I just want to make sure that these curves are nice and smooth so that I can get a nice rounded fillet. I think that looks good. Finish sketch. And now I'm going to use the extrude tool. And in this case, I want to use the asymmetric option. Direction, asymmetric. You can see the black arrow and the blue arrow are different lengths. Select it. And I think if I look at it from front view, I can see more. Well, I guess I say that's right view, but I'm going to just pull these handles. Yep, there we go. Pull the handle. And I think 4.5 is the length. So here I'm going to type 4.5. And here, let's try 1.5. Let's see, what about 2? I think it's 1.5, interestingly. Okay. And just click OK. At this point, I want to use that fillet tool, as I was showing you, and select this side. And then I'm going to rotate my bird and select this side. And let's see if I can increase the number to 1.5. It doesn't like that radius, so I go back to 1.2. See if it works. That'll be fine. Okay. That's a wooden block. So I'm going to try to make it look like wood by putting material on it now. But I'm going to return to this list here. It says default, and the drop-down list appears. But what I'm going to do, as I've demonstrated before, is select the Autodesk Appearance Library. Click. And when you select that, actually, that is now loading the Autodesk Appearance list. So I'm selecting this down arrow again, and here is my list of materials that's quite extensive. And I've come to discover something that I kind of liked, which is the herringbone. ABCDH, you're looking for herringbone, light brown, has a unique, odd look to it. That's the material I've chosen for the bird body. And now I'm going to save it. So I go File, Save As. And if you do not see bird here for bird folder, you've got to navigate to it. You'll use this folder with the green arrow up one level. And I found my G drive. If you need to, you can continue up the list until you find a remote user. From that point, you double click everything. Double click, then you go to your G drive. Double click, then you go find your bird folder. Double click, and that's where you really want to save it. That's called bird body. Now I save. So you see, I started with the template, and then I've converted those drawings and sketches to the bird body. You can even save part 1 here. You just select File, Save As. I'm going to call it, click OK if you see these things. I had to get out of the sketch mode. I'm going to change this as to bird template. And then save. Okay, so I can close these things if I so choose and start a new standard IAM. That's an assembly where I'm going to put the body and the collar and the head together. Create. Place. The first thing I'm placing is that bird body. See, I'm in the right folder, bird, in my G drive, and there's the bird body. So I select it and click Open. Click once, hit Escape. I immediately right-click on the bird body and ground it. Every time you place something, the first one, you right-click and ground. Click. That way it'll stay in locked to this cube here. You can look at it from front view. You can look at it from top view. Back to front view. Here's right view. Okay? So now I'm going to place bird head. That's called the bird head assembly. Remember, it included the skull and the eye. Click Open. Click. And then hit Escape. Now what I'm going to do is look at it from top view, select the bird head, and here's a tool called Free Rotate. Now when you have it in Free Rotate mode, you see if you use this symbol, that will turn your head in multi-planes. You don't want that. You want to move it to where you see the icon symbol looking like this, the cursor symbol looking like this. That means you're rotating in one direction. So you just want to rotate it, hit Escape, and then I'm just moving a little bit into position. Now you can look at it from the front view and lift the head to the position you like. And then you can also free rotate it again. And once again, turning on one plane, hit Escape. That's why you have your finger by the Escape tool all the time. And now I've placed the head in the position that I want. Maybe even rotate it a little more. So I'm rotating, hit Escape, just move it into better position. Does that look good? Maybe so. Place the collar at this point. This is a vulture, so it's got this odd bird collar looking thing. It's made out of a different type of feather, I suppose. Click Open and hit Escape. I'm going to free rotate. Select, rotating on one plane, hit Escape, move it into position. Looks pretty good. Maybe I need to rotate it slightly more. Just turn it, hit Escape. Free rotate. I think I like it at this angle. Now, one last thing you might want to try is create a piece of wood to sit on. For now, I'd say you want to do a final image for your assignment credit. Select View, and where it says Orthographic, I've demonstrated this before. I want you to use this little arrow and select Perspective instead, and then go to the Visual Style Realistic. As you can see, it changes the material in an odd way. Rotate it to a proper angle that you so choose, and then try ray tracing. It's quite an interesting 3D model. If you've done something similar to this, make sure you turn in that image for assignment credit. Good luck.